All right, today we're going to check into one of the most incredible comeback stories in the global economy. I'm talking about India's hotel industry. Using a fantastic report by BNK Securities, we're going to unpack exactly how this sector went from a complete dead-in-the-water standstill to a full-blown roaring boom. So, you gotta ask, right? How on earth did this happen? How did an industry that was totally paralyzed by the pandemic not just crawl back, but launch into an upswing that experts think is gonna last for years? Well, let's find out. So, first, let's just wrap our heads around the sheer scale of this rebound. This isn't just a little bounce back. No, this is a massive, fundamental shift in the industry's fortunes. Yeah, the source material couldn't be clearer on this. This is not just about getting back to 2019 levels. The industry came back so hard that hotels now have some serious pricing power. What's that mean? Well, it means they can charge more for rooms. And all the signs are pointing to this trend sticking around for a good long while. Okay, so what is fueling this incredible engine? Well, the answer is it's a perfect storm of demand, and it's coming from pretty much every direction at once. Let's break down what's really driving this. First up, the business traveler. They are back, and in a big way. You see, as more and more companies lease office space, you get more employees traveling for meetings, for projects, for conferences. It's a really simple but powerful equation. More offices mean more hotel bookings. And a huge piece of that business puzzle is the explosion in what are called Global Capability Centers, or GCCs. Think of them as major operational hubs for giant multinational corporations. The talent pool for these centers is just projected to skyrocket. More global business in India means more executives, both international and domestic, flying in and needing a place to stay. But look, it is not all work and no play. The numbers for domestic tourism are just staggering. After the pandemic, Indians started exploring their own country like never before, and that trend has just hit the accelerator. This explosion in just pure leisure travel is another massive pillar holding up this entire hotel boom. And believe me, the list just keeps going. You've got a rising middle class with more money to spend. On top of that, there's a massive infrastructure push. The number of airports has literally doubled to 148. Then you've got the market for big events. That's MICE, or meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. It's growing like crazy. And you can even add in these huge markets like spiritual tourism, heritage sites, and of course the massive Indian wedding industry. It's like multiple engines all firing at once. Okay, so we've established that demand is absolutely through the roof. But that's only half the story. To really understand why this is a boom, we have to look at the other side of the equation, the supply of hotel rooms. And this chart right here, it tells the whole story. For the next several years, those dark blue bars, that's the growth in demand, are consistently projected to be way higher than the yellow bars, which is the growth in supply. So here's the bottom line. More and more people want rooms, but the number of new rooms just isn't keeping up. The BNK report really nails it with this quote. This isn't just some short-term crunch. No, it's a fundamental market dynamic that points to massive, untapped potential. If you're an investor or a hotel operator, this gap, this is where the opportunity is. And if you want to see just how big that untapped potential is, get this. India, the most populous country on the planet, has just 263 branded hotel rooms for every million people. 263. Now compare that to the US, the UK, or even China. The global average is over 7,800. The runway for growth here is just enormous. You know, the best way to think about this is like a sold-out concert. When everybody wants a ticket, but the venue only has so many seats, what happens? Ticket prices go through the roof, right? That is exactly the dynamic playing out in India's hotel sector right now. It's giving these hotels incredible pricing power. So with this massive opportunity just sitting there on the table, what are the big players doing about it? Let's take a look at how the giants of the Indian hotel industry are positioning themselves to try and win this game. This little table gives us a great snapshot of the different playbooks. You've got 3 major companies here, and they are all tackling the market in their own unique way. You have IHCL with its famous Taj brand going asset light. Then there's Chalet, which is doing pretty much the opposite, focusing on owning prime real estate. And finally, Lemon Tree, which is trying to be the champion of that huge mid-market segment. So let's take IHCL. Their whole game is built around the power of their legendary Taj brand. Instead of spending billions to build new hotels from the ground up, they're signing management contracts to run properties for other owners. This lets them expand really fast without tying up massive amounts of cash. It's a super smart play on their biggest asset, their brand name. Now, Chalet is playing a whole different ballgame. Their strategy is all about location, location, location. They own their properties and they focus on premium, hard-to-replicate hotels right in the heart of major business hubs like Mumbai. This gives them a powerful competitive moat because, let's face it, you can't just build another hotel next door. And then you have Lemon Tree. They have squarely targeted the largest and fastest-growing slice of the pie, the mid-market. They are laser-focused on serving India's growing middle class and the millions of domestic business travelers. Their whole goal is about volume and just dominating this absolutely crucial segment. So the picture looks incredibly rosy, doesn't it? It sounds like a gold rush. But, as with any big boom, there are always challenges on the horizon. Let's wrap up by looking at the potential speed bumps and the overall outlook for the industry. Yeah, the road ahead isn't perfectly paved. Building a hotel in India, while it's tough, you have to navigate this insane maze of over 50 different approvals. Finding and actually buying land in the right spot is a huge headache. There's a serious shortage of skilled workers in the industry, and of course, the competition is getting fierce. These are the real headwinds that could slow down that supply growth we were just talking about. And that really brings us to the final big question. The demand side is undeniable. It's tied to the very growth story of the Indian economy. But the challenge, the real drama, is on the supply side. Can the hotel industry navigate all those hurdles and build fast enough to meet this historic wave of travelers? That's the billion-dollar question that's going to define the next decade of Indian hospitality.